Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast. We fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Mattson Heiner.
If you thought I was dead, I'm not. But I am better red than dead. Back from a long, just vacation, whatever you want to call it. Good to be back, everybody.
Oh, and you're crazy, dude, because you're joining us from Hawaii at like 6 a.m. I love you guys.
Do it.
But
if Javier were here, he would lay into me right now for not being here for such a long time. So
that's fair. He would. He would.
No, he'd lay into you for having another back celebration.
That's true. Also very true.
Very appropriate, Ian.
And then he'd rail all of us for watching a Marvel movie. Our next host, Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
And we have a very special guest host today, Dave Kimball from the Don't Assume podcast.
You're too nice, JJ. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad to be here, and I'm really glad there's another ginger in the room, so I don't feel quite so out of place.
Yeah, though you're old enough like me, Dave, that yours is kind of turning gray on you too.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as ginger as Mattson is. I'm I'm much more strawberry blonde. I'm the silver fox, I guess.
Exactly. I'm just glad to have another old guy on the podcast. So,
yeah, you guys look like babies over here.
They are babies. Always running around with these babies. Well, we're glad to have you, Dave. We appreciate you joining it. Just to let everybody know, I was recently on an episode of Dave's podcast, the Don't Assume podcast again. So go check that out. We'll let him talk more about that later on in the episode. But we're really excited to have you here, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So as always, everyone, we appreciate your help growing the podcast. Go ahead. You're on here on YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe, bell notification. Go check out our website, whatsourverdict.com, where you can find our newsletter. You can also get exclusive content and updates, pick up some merchandise, and interact with us in a many number of ways. And each week, as you guys know, the question we always ask is if you ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie. To help with that question, we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, let you know our verdict. This is our spoiler-free review. We'll rate these movies on a 3-tiered scale here. Worth it, meaning you should definitely watch this movie as soon as possible. Stream it, meaning wait until you can watch it for free. And finally, not impressed, meaning you shouldn't watch it at all. And our deep dive reviews are available every Monday wherever fine podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. And today we're reviewing Black Widow. It was released July 9th, 2021. It was written by, I got my notes in the wrong place there. It's written by Eric Pearson and Jack Schaefer. It's directed by Kate Shortland. It stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, O.T. Fagbenle, Olga Kurylenko, and Ray Winstone. Natasha Romanoff, on the run after the events of Civil War, receives a mysterious package that leads her to reunite with and confront her dangerous path. So let's jump in with some spoiler-free stuff. I'll start us off. First of all, 2 years is too long to wait for a Marvel movie, I have decided. And I know Javier's cringing somewhere as he listens to this because he hates Marvel so much.
I'd say 2 years is too long for a good Marvel movie.
That's fair. Yeah, I was really excited. And I was really excited about this one because Black Widow has been one of my favorite characters, even in the comics, just because she's so anti-hero because of her backstory. So I was really excited to get into this one. And I think she should have had a intro movie or her solo movie long before this. So I was really excited to get into this movie. Though I think the timing worked because Scarlett Johansson had so much time with this character and so many opportunities to grow, and we watched her. So I think it worked out. But I was always a little salty that we didn't get this one earlier because this character is just so fun within the Marvel universe. So I was happy to see it. The acting was hilarious. Scarlett Johansson, my biggest beef, if I had to throw one out there, is that about halfway through this movie, it stops being her movie in a lot of ways. The co-stars really kind of lean in and steal the show in a lot of places, though everyone, this ensemble cast is a lot of fun. But that would be my biggest beef, is I think it kind of isn't as much her movie as it could have been, even though it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a worth it because I think, combined with the fact that Marvel just makes entertaining movies, this one was really fun, and it really kind of subverted that. What Javier's problem is that with Marvel is that it repeats the story. It doesn't have that same story, even though it does have some similar Marvel tones. So for me, giving it a worth it. Go check this thing out either on Disney Plus or hit your theater if you're comfortable with that. With that, we're going to jump into our special guest, Dave.
Yeah.
What's your spoiler-free review of Black Widow, sir?
Well, I would agree with a lot of what you said. I have a few beefs with this movie that are not spoiler-free, so I'll hold those for the next episode. But it's way long overdue, and I think that what you said about halfway through it stops being her movie. I think that's intentional, and that's kind of one of the beefs that I have with this movie. Is that, I mean, they're pumping this movie. Is like I saw an ad this morning to go see a Fandango ad, and it said F is for female, which is like after how many years of Marvel movies they're finally saying, look, we can do female-centered movies that are still cool, and like it's way too late. And then they don't even make it all about her, and the ending really like grinds my gears a little bit in terms of Marvel. So I would rate it worth it because my whole criteria for enjoying movies is it story worthy? I want to be part of the conversation, you know what I mean, with other people. And so I hate missing out on conversations. So I watch the biggest stuff because people are talking about it and I don't want to be left out. Mm-hmm. And so I would say worth it. Don't be left out of the conversation, but also be prepared to have a fun time if you're looking for a surface level movie, but also there's a lot of room to have a lot of opinions about a lot of stuff.
Nice. I'm excited to talk with you. I'm excited for this episode, boys. All right, Ian.
So I ended up liking this movie a lot more than I expected to. I'm probably one of the surface level guys that Dave is talking about, though. So, just FYI. But I came into it because I don't dislike Marvel movies, but I feel like I've kind of been beaten with them over the head for so many years that it's just like, okay, here we go, another one in the books. But I ended up enjoying this a lot more, and not as being a knock on Scarlett Johansson, but like you guys said, like the other characters in this movie kind of make it less about her, which I didn't hate, just because I had ended up enjoying those characters as much as I did. So, and I don't remember the last time I gave a worth it, but I'm going to give this one a worth it.
It has been a minute, Ian, I think.
Yeah, I'm a naysayer.
That's true.
Over here.
I love it. All right, Mattson, in your returning glory, finish off the spoiler-free review for us, sir.
Well, I can't think of a time that all of us have given a movie a worth it as well. It's probably been a very hot minute. I'm definitely giving it a worth it. For me, a good marking of a movie is how much do I want to watch it again, especially with those that may not have seen it. This movie is entertaining. At the very least, Marvel does it so well with the comedic relief. I kept turning to Taylor as I was watching it, and just Marvel has such a different feel than DC. There were so many opportunities in this movie to get really gritty and really personal in some areas, and Marvel's way is adding more comedic relief to the fire, and it works. No disrespect to this movie, it really works. But I think for me, sometimes I thought this movie was going to be more on edge, and that's no knock on this movie. I think that's a beef that I may carry just in a different lens. I thought Marvel was going to go a little bit grittier, and I thought this was the movie to maybe start to do that. Because correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, I thought this movie originally was going to be rated R because it was going to be on the grittier side of things. I'm not sure if they changed things with COVID or whatever happened, or I'm making that up. But I wanted to see a little bit more grit, but they lean in the comedic relief. It works awesome. It's very well balanced in that regard. I think the other thing was a little different. This movie towards the end got a bit outlandish for me. And that is a problem that I have because the movie was very believable up until the point where they engage with the Red Room, not to be confused with the Blue Room. And so I have a problem sometimes with movies that give me a brand until a certain point, and then my expectations kind of have to go out the window. I don't love when movies do that to me. It worked. It didn't detract from anything, but I get a little, and when we're talking about being a critique, I get hard on movies when they do that. But overall, a movie that's certainly well worth watching again. So therefore, definitely worth to stream it. I especially if you like a a superhero movie, you just want a fun movie to watch with some of your friends or family, this movie's worth it for sure.
Cool. Worth it across the board. I'm with you. Ian, what was it we watched last week, dude? We did a worth it across the board.
The Tomorrow War?
No, yeah, we didn't. I know I wouldn't have given that a worth it.
Oh, you know what it was? It was Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. As stupid as that was, it was that movie. Because that movie was so dumb, and yet, God, we couldn't help but just, like, I haven't seen Javier laugh that hard in ever. So, yeah, that movie was funny. So that one was it. So, yeah, 4 worth it. Go out and check this movie out. Again, you can see it on Disney+. No sponsor, obviously, but you can also go see it at your movie theater. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. With that, man, 2 things. First, Dave, tell everybody what you do and where they can find you.
Thanks, man. So yeah, I run a little podcast called the Don't Assume Podcast. It's all about the assumptions we make about each other. It's an effort to build empathy, but also do it in kind of a fun way. There are more serious episodes where we talk about racial division or police or addiction recovery. There are also other really fun episodes. Like my favorite, the most fun that I ever had in a podcast was talking about this irrational fear of whales that I have. And marine biologist came and told us how important whale poop is and how big dicks dolphins are. And dolphins are the real enemies of the ocean. So go check it out. We're at Don't Assume Podcasts on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us on all the platforms. Appreciate the plug, man. And yeah, this is fun. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of fun with your podcast.
Talk about the Seinfeld episode, the marine biologist episode. That's like one of my favorites.
We absolutely, there's a plug for that episode in that.
That is also one of. I've been listening to your podcast ever since for a long time now, since you started, and really into it the last few weeks. And that was one of my favorite episodes. I also really liked the military life one. That one was like one of the more intense episodes. But yeah, that one kind of melted my brain. I was driving to work and I was late to work because I didn't get out of my car. I was like, I got to finish this episode. So
that's an honor to hear. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of stuff that we think we know about each other. And if we just are willing to say, hey, I'm kind of dumb, or I think I know this, but I might be wrong, and just ask the question, people are willing to tell you what's real and what's not. And I've got to meet a lot of cool people around the world because of it. So
yeah,
I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. Mattson, with that, man, it's been a long time since I've been able to pass this honor off to you. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find us?
If you want to engage with us and just have a fabulously amazing time with our content, with our people, first off, got to come listen to us. Apple, Stitcher, Ghana, you name it. We're everywhere. But on social media, their 2 biggest spots are Facebook and Instagram. You can find us on Twitter as well. But let us know what you think. Come drop us a comment. Hit the like button. Subscribe to our podcast. And also, of course, you can find us on YouTube for our Spoiler Freeze. And check us out on our website, certainly to see what we're reviewing for next month. We're excited to engage with y'all. Thanks again.
Definitely. Speaking of that, next week, we'll have a spoiler free for Space Jam. It's going to be nice to not be doing an adult-based movie. So I'm looking forward to that one. Space Jam. That was original, came out when I was a young man. So
it's going to be a bad movie, but I'll watch them.
Yeah, my hopes aren't up, but it should be some nostalgia porn at very least, right? So, and I love animated, and I love like Bugs Bunny, so I'm excited for all that. But yeah, so check us out. That'll be next week. We appreciate you guys tuning in, giving us a watch. Again, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, bell, notification button so you can check out all of our episodes as they come out with Spoiler Freeze. And as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Whoa!